Hi, I'm Trooper Smacka.
Hi, I'm Trooper Wellman,
Please stay tuned for a behind-the-scenes look at being a state trooper.
and together we can make a difference.
Here we are live with another edition of Trooper Talk with Trooper Wellman. Trooper Wellman, it's great to see you.
Great to see you too.
We were talking before we went on the air just about, basic roadway safety, and, how you shouldn't be tailgating people and, you know what I mean? And especially big trucks and things like this because maybe they have to get out of the way or, you know what I mean? And things of this nature. And so everyone's in a rush. And so, when I go for my drive in the morning, I am noticing people are driving at a faster speed now in the morning than maybe in the winter. The windows are down, the music's going, all these things are happening, and we're not paying as much attention, right?
Well, we are in our 100 deadly days of summer currently, which just means that we usually see, unfortunately, an increase in our fatalities and in our crashes here in the valley due to our young adults being out of school, as well as we see an increase in tourism because it's summer vacation. People are coming to town. We got our pools at our casinos. We've got a bunch of shows in town. We just see an increase in tourism here in town. So we see more traffic. With that, causes more possibly traffic delays. People aren't, let's say you start work at 7 a.m. and your routine is you leave your house at 6:15 and you never really have issues. You always have enough time to get to work. Now, if there's an increase in traffic, you might want to leave 6 o'clock instead of 6:15. Otherwise, that's going to cause you to rush, speed, try to get in and out of traffic because you're trying to make it to work on time. And it's just a whole dominoes effect. And it's not affecting just you. It's affecting everyone when you're speeding, making unsafe lane changes. And then the obvious, your life is in danger because you're traveling in a reckless manner, as well as you're putting others in danger. And to answer or to talk about what you were saying about the commercial vehicles, the commercial vehicles, you should always leave plenty of distance between you and our semi trucks. It takes longer reaction time for those vehicles to stop. They're heavier. It's going to take a lot more time till they could safely come to a stop. So please always leave enough distance between you and those vehicles, as well as don't follow so closely behind them, because if they do abruptly stop, you're not going to win that game. If you go into the rear of a semi truck, a tractor trailer, or even if they rear end you, most likely you're not going to win. It's a thousands of pound vehicle coming at you. If they are trying to make a lane change, please be patient and courteous and let them get over, because think of how wide that vehicle is, compared to your 10-foot vehicle. Let them get over. They're trying to get over to their destination as well without causing any crashes. And when they have to slow down to get over because people aren't letting them get over, all that's doing is causing more delay. So please just be courteous and let them get over. And then lastly, I'll add is that not only do our commercial vehicles have a responsibility to secure their load, but all the motoring public does as well. Yeah. If you have anything in the bed of your truck or secured to the roof of your car, or even if you have the back of your, maybe like a hatch open and you have like 2x4s hanging out the back or something because you're moving, you have a responsibility to secure that load. And if it becomes unsecure and it becomes debris on the roadway, you strike another vehicle or you cause a crash because it becomes unsecure, you will be responsible for that. And far too often do we see mattresses coming off of vehicles because it wasn't secured, because you thought you could travel at speeds of 65 miles an hour and the wind hit it on the freeway and now your mattress just came lost. You can receive a citation for that. Best case scenario, you receive a citation for it. Hopefully you don't cause any crashes. It causes our troopers to get out there. We have to conduct a traffic break, slow all traffic to a complete stop, get the debris out of the roadway, and then get traffic flowing again. It's just a whole ripple effect. But, we were talking about maybe rocks or debris coming off these commercial vehicles. They do have a responsibility to secure their load and make sure that their vehicles are covered. Sometimes it does happen though. Mud flaps, tires, kick up stuff. Always just make sure you have enough distance between you and that vehicle to prevent anything like that from happening and causing damage to your vehicle.
Yeah, it happened the other day. I saw a pickup truck that had stuff in the back of the pickup truck, and while he was on the freeway, the stuff was going like this. You know, it was like a bed or whatever it was. You know, wood, and it was probably held down, but there was no straps.
Oh, goodness.
You know, the other day I went for a drive. I saw a chair that was on the rocks, like off the freeway. You know what I mean? But it was either on the freeway or on the side of the freeway. I mean, like it was somewhere, and like somebody moved it, right? And so like, and I have seen once where there was in the travel lane there was a chair. I noticed that there was in the last couple of days there was like a box, you know, like in the travel lane that you don't know what was in there. Right, and so like it was just there, and like that would have like maybe it's a box you could just drive over, right?
But maybe it's not.
Maybe you know. And so I heard somebody once told me that there was a story when they were growing up or something, that there was a little kid hiding in a box.
Oh my gosh.
And somebody, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's horrible.
The thing also I wanted to discuss is, you know, I know that people aren't generally doing it on the freeway, right? But, you know, kids are dying right now because people are leaving them in the car. And dogs and animals and all this type of stuff. And so I also wanted to talk about the fact of that it's so hot that if your car should break down, you need to make a phone call like immediately and figure out what you're doing. I mean, like I walked yesterday on the pavement, and you could feel the heat and you could smell the pavement because it's just so hot.
Yes. When we are on the pavement on the highways, it may be 118 outside, but the pavement is minimum 136. We're looking at usually 20 degrees hotter, and then the rays are reflecting off the pavement onto us. It's very, very hot. So imagine your vehicle being on the side of the highway or the side of a road in 118 degrees. If you do not have a cell phone, if you can't walk to a nearby gas station or establishment and use a phone to call Star NHP or 911 to offer some resources to get your vehicle going or get you out of the heat. If you don't have that option, let's say you're in maybe a rural area, I say this with caution because I don't want anyone to be put in danger, but maybe flag a car down, or we get a lot of calls of people, hey, there's someone on the side of the road waving. And then we'll go out there. You don't necessarily have to
Like
stop.
in a rural area.
Yeah, and that goes for both parties. I mean, if you don't feel comfortable stopping, which, again, all with caution, I'm not saying do this, but if you are in a situation, it's just an option. If you see somebody waving on the side of the road, look around, look at the mile markers, and call 911, call Star NHP, tell them the location, and we'll get out there immediately. But if you are in town, your best case scenario, if you're on a highway or anything, either flag people down, or as soon as, I mean, we have constantly troopers on patrol, and whenever we see a disabled vehicle on the side of the road, we are going to stop out. We also have our great community partners called Freeway Service Patrol.
Yeah, fantastic with their big white trucks, right?
FSP, man, they are amazing, and they have helped us tremendously with really catering to our community and helping with assistance, whether your battery dies, your car overheats, you ran out of gas. I'm not saying run out of gas because they don't carry a lot, but they give you enough to get you off the freeway. You know, changing your tire. It's 118 outside. Who wants to change their tire, right? Or if your car breaks down, we have push bumpers on the front of our patrol vehicle, as well as Freeway Service Patrol, and we can put your car in neutral and push you off the highway, get you to a safer location. I mean, we have tons of resources out there for you to keep you safe and get you and your loved ones out of these situations. But
it's just too hot. You know
it's
what I mean?
so hot. But please never leave your children or animals or any of your loved ones in the vehicle at that matter. It is way too hot right now, and within minutes of your car being turned off and closed, windows up, the temperature's rising at a very quick rate, and it'll have fatal consequences. So please don't ever do that. Don't run into the store real quick and leave your children in the car. it'll have fatal consequences, and we will break your window to get that child out, and you will be looking at possibly being arrested, or definitely Child Protective Services getting called, animal control is getting called. Like, a full investigation will be conducted, because it's something we do not take lightly.
Yeah, no, there's no messing around with this type of
Yes.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we have. Let's see what Johnny picked for us for today. Slow down. Lives are on the line. What's that? 108.
Yep. 101.
Seriously.
Yeah, these are some photos, and then we had the 100, all triple digits. I actually just got probably another 6 photos from our motor units the other day. Highest was 124. I haven't posted it yet. I actually had to clarify with the trooper. I said, does that say 124? And it was daytime, motoring public, heavily traffic, like coming into town. It was down in our 15 Sloan area. Unbelievable. Speed limit's 70 over there, and they were going 124.
124 miles an hour is no business on a freeway.
Absolutely not.
Is no business on the roadways. But the thing is that, you can't control whatever it is that you're driving at that speed if something should happen. And even if something doesn't happen, you're not a professional race car driver.
It comes down to reaction time. You're not trained to drive at speeds that fast. You don't know how to handle your car that fast. And if you do, you should know, because that means you're a professional race car driver. You should know you have to travel at speeds like that on a racetrack, on a designated track, not our motoring public highway. We have speeds of 65 to 70 the most. It's unbelievable, and it's very selfish, honestly. That's what it is, because if somebody sees you coming up really fast in their rear mirror and they don't realize how fast you're going, maybe they, we call it, so like if somebody's coming at a very high rate of speed, and I always associate it with like a motorcycle, maybe you think because they're a distance away, you can make this turn into a side street, or you can enter the traffic thinking they're not traveling at that high rate of speed, because your eyes can't actually adjust to like determine the speed they're traveling. You can't see that they're traveling that fast until they get closer, and then at that point it's already too late.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing if you're in your vehicle and you see a car come up and you're looking in the rear mirror. You can't really determine how fast they're going until you hear it, and you can hear the motor going faster, and then as they're getting closer, and at that point the reaction time is just not there. Does that make sense?
So when I'm driving, one of the things that I try to look in the rearview mirror, but I really pay attention to the left and the right.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm more so the left more so than the right. But when I'm driving and I'm looking at the left, I am looking at the left hand or the number 3 lane, right?
Yep.
To determine, because generally speaking, that's where people are going to come up the fastest. And I do watch for that to see a car that wasn't there that is all of a sudden just buzzing down the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in me doing that, it's still like you're saying, so that person's coming like this, and I'm in that lane, so I go, okay, let me move over to allow you to go this way, but this person sees me there and goes, well, let me cut over so he can pass me, and it's just a disaster.
Yes, and that's where I think of the motorcycle example, because far too often we see these motorcycles coming up hot, and the car's just like you, like, well, let me get out of their way, let me move over. But when you're moving over, the motorcycle didn't realize you were going to move over, and they were going to go around you, and it's too late. And if they weren't traveling at a speed that fast, they would have been able to apply their brake, decrease their speed, and safely move over. But when you're traveling at speeds like that, I mean, you're asking for trouble. So I just hope that they know the risk they're taking by traveling at speeds like that.
Yeah, and let's face it, that when you meet the trooper and the trooper looks at you and goes, what are you doing at 108 miles an hour? Like what is the I wanted to get to the somewhere so I could eat. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no logical explanation to go that fast.
When you're going over 40 plus miles an hour over the posted speed limit, that's reckless driving. You have no wanton regard for the public safety, and it's an arrestable offense. And I think people don't understand that not only is your car going to get towed, but you could be arrested for traveling at speeds that fast. And that's how serious it is, because we're seeing too many fatal crashes, and our top two contributing factors are speed and impairment. And that is why we're out there, to slow people down, not to give tickets and to inconvenience people financially. It is to save your life ultimately. And if you could see the things we've seen and see the crashes that we've seen where it all could have been prevented if someone just would have slowed down, you would understand our passion and the reason we're out there issuing citations or educating the motoring public on traffic safety, because it's real, and seeing is believing. And you think it is, you know how to drive your car and it's not going to happen to you. Well, guess what? You know, you're going to be that person that's going 108, 124, and that dog's going to run out into the middle of the highway because it happens. Or a box is going to be in the middle of the highway and you're going to swerve, and you're going to possibly lose your life, injure or kill your passengers, or you're going to hurt and harm someone else that was just driving, maybe to go pick up their kid from school. And you're going to wreck someone's whole life because you decided to go that fast. Like, and I can't tell you how many crashes I've been on, Neil, where I actually talked to the driver and they're crying because they just killed someone because they made a wrong choice that day to speed. And the crash that comes to my mind is this young kid one time on St. Rose in the 15 area. He was driving reckless, and he went to pass somebody on the shoulder, and he ended up causing an intersection crash, and he killed a person. And he was crying, and you know that if he could turn back time, he would, and take it all back, because he didn't mean to do that. That wasn't his intentions.
Right.
He just wasn't thinking clearly, and it's unfortunate because now he, ruined the life of an entire family, friends, everyone that's connected to that individual, because we're all connected. We all know somebody. And now his life is forever changed. So it's just tragedy all around, all because you made the choice to speed.
Yeah.
And I know people don't think it's a big deal, like, oh, who cares, I'm just speeding, I'm just going to get to my destination faster. But really, if you knew what it could do, you would think twice and slow down.
Yeah, 100%. And, the thing, I don't know, but, as I look at, these cars, right, most tires are rated for a speed of 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, you're right.
And so I don't know anything about this car. Maybe this person upgraded their tires. So we're talking in a generalized scenario.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that when I was driving the other day, there was a car that was one of these little tiny cars, whatever that, you know what I mean? And had the little tires. And that thing is not only going down the road, but on the curve, the car is lifted like it just didn't make sense. But the thing is, this guy is cruising, and I don't know what those tires are rated, but these tires are not rated at 100 miles an hour.
That's a great point.
And they have blowouts, and
yeah, the second you have a blowout, there's classes that our young adults can take called driver's ed and stuff, where we have them go on wet surfaces and actually spin out the car so they learn how to control it. And there's been studies done where if somebody gets a tire blowout, you won't lose control of your car if you hold on to the steering wheel. But that's a lot easier said than done, because if you know it's coming, that's one thing. But to be startled and you're just driving, that's very scary. And most likely your reflex is going to be to jerk the wheel or something, and that's what causes rollovers, spin outs, you make unsafe lane changes in front of other people. And if you're traveling at high rates of speed, that's a whole nother,
100 miles an hour on one of these things, you're all done.
It's very, very scary.
Very scary. Slow down. Where you're going to go with it. Oh, look at this. Ah, yes, Trooper Wellman.
Yeah, so this is the American Association for State Troopers.
Yes.
And you can go on, I believe it's statetroopers.org, but on all of our social media handles, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, we have the link posted. We're asking for the public's help to go online and vote for our cars. It's a state police competition they do every year, and it's actually for a calendar. You want to make it in the calendar. Not all state police make it in the calendar. We actually didn't make it last year, so it was the first time we've never made it. So this year we're really promoting it. We usually submit photos of, in the past years, usually Vegas, but this year we wanted to highlight Tahoe, because this is another part of our state. Like, it's gorgeous in Tahoe. You have the mountain, you have people out on the lake, I mean, and honestly, this could be where you work. It's so amazing. So
Amazing.
we just really wanted to highlight it. But please, please, please go on. It takes 2 seconds to go on the monkey survey monkey, something like that, and just vote for Nevada to get us in there. We'd really appreciate your help.
And so we're going to make it really easy for everybody. They're going to go to votensp.com, and we'll forward them right to the link so
Perfect.
that everybody can vote.
Thank
so
you.
So it'll be votensp.com. Well, Johnny will flash that on there, and we're going to get everybody to vote here, okay?
That's awesome. Thanks so much. We can't thank our community enough.
Yeah, it's great. We're going to win, too. All right, Nevada State Police Academy 100. We know that Lieutenant Stunkel makes sure that she tells her husband, that he needs to get more recruits. Remember, we talked about that on the 100th episode. Remember, she's like, come on, come on, come on.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Pay raise, more competitive wages,
Absolutely.
right? And we always talk about the fact of, how you can go anywhere and, do the fire marshal and, and all these different things. But, now the wages are going to be competitive. And so there's a lot of things that the Nevada State Police and the Department of Public Safety can offer to an individual that is either changing careers, right? Or is young and just wants to start out and wants to work for the next 30 years. There's all these different things, right?
Yeah, so one of the options we have, once you finish your testing process with us and you're just waiting to start your academy, like these two individuals here, their academy starts in September, but they finished their testing process and they already got their conditional offer. A way to not only keep you on track, get you involved with our agency, meet people you're going to work with, is we have the cadet program where you would actually come to the station that you're going to be stationed at. So these two individuals are up in Reno, and they work at our Reno office. They already started their retirement. They already got their P numbers, so they have seniority over anybody else that's going to get hired on after them. They're meeting all of the troopers, parole and probation officers. They can go do ride-alongs. Really, they can go do sit-alongs with our dispatch. Really get that upper hand for when they start their police academy. Any questions they have about the academy, they have individuals there all day, every day that can answer their questions, make sure they have the right gear, whatever it may be. And it just gives you that upper hand, but also really gets you more connected to the family that you're about to enter in. And it makes it, when you have your hard days at the academy, it makes it worth it because you're like, okay, this is what I'm fighting for. This is what I'm hanging in there for because I know what's at the end of the finish line. But it's a great program, or a great stepping stone to get involved in if you are trying to get on, or once you get your academy date. But like you said, we have multiple divisions that people can go to. So let's say you're a cadet and you got on with parole and probation and you go do a ride along with highway patrol and you're like, wow, this is really appealing to me and I think I want to go to highway patrol instead. As long as we have the availability, our agency will make every accommodation to accommodate you and make it possible so that you could transfer over so when you go to your academy, because our academies all train the same. So it doesn't matter what division you're going to, you will be in the same post academy as everybody else. And for example, right now, Academy 99 down here in the South, we have gaming control, juvenile parole and probation, highway patrol, parole and probation. We have multiple different divisions all within our one academy. So it doesn't matter because it's all the same academy. Everybody learns the same information. So that way when you do get on in your career, you can transfer around and you won't be totally lost because you already have knowledge on what those divisions do. Does that make sense?
No, and it does. And the thing is that, we love someone who's very excited, who wants to learn that. And to be able to hang out and, do the things. And, the thing that I love about that is that you're able to talk to not only people that are of your equality, but you are also able to talk to people that are of a higher rank, so that you can sort of gel and see if it,
Yeah.
The thing is this. From what you've told me, the academy's fantastic. But there are a lot of days that it's very tough.
Absolutely.
and where you question, you know, what you're doing and all these type of things. And so to be able to go and talk to the major who's sitting in an office, who you can knock on his door, or, you know, maybe the door's open, I don't know, but I'm just saying, you know, like, and you can go and say, listen, you know, like, I want to do this, but I'm sort of second guessing myself. I've been here for a couple months. You know, maybe I don't feel it, or, you know, like, I know that this is exactly where I want to be. But to be able to talk and to be able to have the friendship and the leadership
Yeah.
before you join, before you go into your commencement for the academy, right? I think puts you at a tremendous step ahead.
Absolutely.
You know,
And you
and
get
so
these mentors.
I think it's just very cool, and so it's certainly for these individuals, it's certainly going to make their life, you know, that much, maybe not easier, but maybe easier. You know.
Well, think about going to a new school. If you don't know anyone, it makes it that much more challenging. You don't know your way around. You don't know where the bathroom is. You don't know where to go get paperwork. You don't know where the principal's office is. That's how it is when you get a new job, right? So if you start early, once you're out of the academy, you're already going to know familiar faces, and it's going to feel like home and comforting. And when you walk down that hallway, you say hi to the admin staff, you say hi to the sworn staff, you go say hi to dispatch, and you know the voice now on the other side of the radio, all because you were there earlier and you got to meet people. And I think that plays a huge factor, because it's a comfort thing for me personally.
Yeah.
I like knowing everybody as I walk down the hallway at the office. You know, meeting new people sometimes is scary. So,
I would want to do it too.
you know?
Yeah,
So to get the upper
100%.
hand and meet mentors and people, if you're in the academy and you're confused on something, or you're questioning, like, oh, I don't know if I want to hang in there, and you call one of your mentors, like that,
Are you allowed to do that if you're in the academy? Like, can you call like someone else that?
to an extent, yeah. And
Let me
be
just
like,
say, like, you know, like, you've been through the academy. I know you can't tell me what tomorrow's like, but like, what do I need to do?
yeah, or like, especially if you're having moments where you're like stressed out and you're like, I have to take, because every week you take a written test, and you know, it's pass fail, and so it's very stressful, and that's where you lean on your classmates. And if you do know somebody in the department, you know, and you have a mentor and you can text them or be like, today was a hard day. You know, I've had cadets hit me up and be like, I'm struggling today, or you know, I'm really stressed out about this test. You know, you can just reassure them, take a breath. We've all been there. We all got through it. So will you. And you can give them some words of encouragement to push on, you know. But they also have their corporals, which is the academy staff, the TAC officers. And the corporals are assigned to specific cadets within the academy. And they're there basically as like a counselor as well. So when you're struggling, or when you're messing up in the academy, your corporal's going to pull you aside and be like, what's going on, or how can I help you? I want to set you up. We want to set you up for success. We
Yeah,
want
of
you
course,
to, you know,
100%.
graduate. So we have all these resources in place for that exact reason.
Yeah, no, that's great, and that's what people would need to know too. That, like, they just don't throw you in an academy and they start screaming at you, and you're like, you know, like, oh, you know what I mean? I texted
Sergeant Broadcheck.
Jason, yeah, Sergeant Brachek, and found out a lot about him. You know what I mean? And it's just unfortunate. You know what I mean? It's just unfortunate, and so I know that he meant the world to him. You know what I mean? And so, like, you know, this wasn't just like a person, or just, you know, and so we obviously say hello to you know, Sergeant Brachek, and, you know, like, all that stuff, but, you know, it's for his family, and, you know what I mean, like, his wife, and you know what I mean, like, what they had to go through, and you know, we're just very sad for them.
For those that don't know, Lieutenant Carell was on vacation and a freak accident happened where he ended up drowning while he was snorkeling, and it just came out of nowhere, and he was, and still is, just so loved at our agency. And he worked in the South and he worked in the North, so he knows everyone statewide. Had a huge impact on our department. Very, very knowledgeable lieutenant that will be dearly missed. And this was the celebration of life that our agency held in his honor up north on the 14th. And it was really beautiful. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but our honor guard went up. His family was there. And again, this was an off-duty incident, and Nevada State Police is there. Like, we step up it doesn't matter if it's on duty, off duty. Like, that was our brother, that's our family, and we honored him. And his family was so grateful for that. His mother even spoke and just kept thanking our agency for hosting a memorial and just being there for support, checking in with them, asking what we can do, fundraising. And, you know, not every employment is going to do that for you, because we're a family here, and that's where that blue family thing comes in. And I know I love being a part of it. And it's just like the military, you know, like, you know, if something happened to you or a loved one, your brothers and sisters are going to be there to step in and help with the grieving process. And so if that's something that you want to be a part of, and it's such, it's, I was going to say, like, it's an honor to be represented in that way, because not everybody gets represented, right? Unfortunately, people die every day.
Yeah.
And
I think about it all the time. Let me say it
Yeah.
like that. Being a civilian, I think about these type of things all the time.
Yeah.
Okay? Because when I go up and see the lieutenant's thing, you know, the lieutenant's grave on Sunday, I see like Tom Rainey there, and I go, you know, I wonder if somebody would ever come and see me, right? Like, and so I always say, like, I don't do it for anything, but like I do it for the fact that, like, you know, I want someone to feel honored, and so I would hope that someone would do that, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so I would say to you, most civilians, unless they're in the military, never get anything. Right? You know, maybe people come or what, you know, but the thing is to be able to have a memorial and the whole thing, and to be able to have the Nevada State Police and everybody show up, and you know, it just, there's nothing to bring that particular person back, but there's a level of feeling of comfort that at least there's someone there that cared.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Yeah. And knowing that if I had to pay the ultimate sacrifice or give the ultimate sacrifice, that my family would have this comfort, a flag presented to them, my name would be honored. Like,
Yeah.
to me, like, that speaks volume, and that's why I choose to work for Nevada State Police, because I am part of the Honor Guard, and I have seen firsthand and been a part of it firsthand of what we do for the fallen's families. And it brings me comfort to know that's how my family would be treated if something, God forbid, happened to me.
Yeah.
And if you ever have that passion to serve and protect your community, and you want to be a part of this family, like, I highly encourage you to go to nevadastatepolice.com and apply today. Like, you know, this wasn't even on duty. It was just, you know, a freak accident that happened while he
Yeah.
was snorkeling, and it's devastating. But I am grateful that our agency stepped up. I know his family's very grateful, and we'll just honor his memory as forever. So
Best we can, you know what I mean? Just keep talking about him, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah. There it is.
hey,
Oh, it's a video.
that was like the worst one we did.
Oh, that was very funny.
We've been doing a lot of memes
Yes.
to just get traction. We got a 23% pay raise. That's well over 10 grand more. So our starting salary for sworn officers was around 50,000, and now we can safely say 60,000, but it's probably closer to 62. We're still finalizing the numbers, but at least 60,000 you'll start at. Most agencies that are competing agencies start around 60, 61, so we're right there with them. But we also have the take-home card that no other agency offers. That right there will save you about 10 grand a year in wear and tear, gas, oil changes, and your time, because you sign on from home, get in your patrol vehicle, and you're on duty. When you come home, you park your car, you sign off, and you're off duty. There is no going back to the station, changing out, switching out cars, getting all your gear out. There's none of that. It's fantastic. Time is money, and we're right there now. We're right up there. We still have a little ways to go to be fully equal with our other agencies, but we are definitely now a comfortable living, and this is a huge, we haven't had a raise in over 20 years for our agency, so this is just huge, and we are so excited,
Yeah.
and we're making sure that everyone knows we're excited, and that's why we're just posting multiple memes all over social media, getting it out there, letting people know. If you have any questions, our recruiters are ready to rock and roll, answer any questions you have. NevadaStatePolice.com, you can talk to a live recruiter right there. If you're worried about the physical fitness test, our recruiter down south, Officer McClarty, he'll go out there. He just did one at 7 a.m. this morning. He can test you out right away. We're making accommodations for individuals. You don't have to just come test when we have testing dates. He'll accommodate your schedule. If you want to practice with him, he'll practice with you on the weekends, weekdays, get you ready to go so when you do test, you are successful. And he's there to answer any questions for benefits, pay, our testing process, and you can do ride-alongs with us, come see firsthand what it's all about. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but right now is the time that if you have that, that drive that you want to protect and serve your state, like now is the time to sign up because we're about to get flooded with people and we're very excited about that. And I personally feel like we're like a hidden gem because we have the take-home car and the type of work we do. We have so much freedom. We travel all around the state. We don't have just a designated area where we patrol. And now that our pay is there, it's game on. So.
And you told me last time. So and then you get the like for you being the PIO, you get extra, and then you get extra for the schooling and all that type of stuff.
Yes.
The incentive. Incentives on top of that, if you do extra things or have extra things, is there as well, right?
Yes. So we got a COLA, which is cost of living expense. We received multiple incentives for specialty pay. Our K-9 gets 10% extra. Our Fatal Team MERT gets 10% extra. Public Information Officer, myself, I get 5% incentive. We get bilingual pay now. We get incentives for having your degree, which we never had before.
Yeah, right.
As well as we get a uniform allowance now, and I believe it's $1,400 a year. I'd have to double check that one, but our uniform allowance before was like one uniform a year, and that was like $100, like something very minute. Where now it's realistic, and I believe it's $1,400 a year. You get I want to say Officer McClarty said we get 2 pay incentives for boots, like $2 $500 or $250 every 6 months.
That's
so it's like,
great.
Yeah, so you get on top of the uniform allowance. Like there's so many amazing incentives we have, and we just can't wait to keep sharing them with everyone. Please continue to follow our social media to see all the different pay incentives we offer now. But again, like we're up there, and you should come do a ride along. I highly suggest it. Come find out all our different divisions we offer and see what best fits you. Even if you don't want to be sworn and you want to be in, just our civilian staff, and you want to be part of our retirement and the benefits, and it's security because you have a good paying state job and you know it's not going anywhere. I highly encourage you to come down and talk to us, talk to our station, people that work there, or our recruiters, because opportunities are endless. So
yeah, I think it's fantastic, and I think that you keep opening yourself up, and the Officer McClarty, and you know what I mean, like, and everybody keeps coming here, and they keep telling everybody that it's such a great place. That now with this, it just made it even that much better.
The only negative thing about our agency that, and it was out in the open, and we were transparent about it, was our pay. Like we were one of the lowest paying police departments, and it was a bummer because we have so much to offer, and like I said, we're like a hidden gem. Like we are one of the best places to work for, and now that we got our pay raise, now it just sky's the limit. Like there's nothing even to talk about negative about. Like you walk down the hallway and everybody is so happy, and could it be better? Sure, but we are just
really
so
good.
grateful.
Right.
We're just so grateful, and I'm excited for the future. And we've even got things like budgets for our marketing and PIO office and things that we never had before. So this is just all great change that is coming, and I cannot wait to see where our agency goes from here.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited too. It's fantastic. We got to keep talking about it. Johnny likes talking about the pay raise. Anything to raise money, right, Johnny? Yeah. Nevada State Police issues all sworn personnel their own take-home vehicle.
Yeah.
So we talk about that, and it's a very serious thing. When you walk outside and go into your garage, you're signed on.
Absolutely.
Right? And No one is driving, not saying that anyone driving your car would make a difference, but here's the thing. Excuse me. You know when the oil's changed. You know when the tires were last rotated. You know how hard you drive the car. You know what I mean? Like all these things that maybe person X doesn't do. And so, you know, it really sets what you do apart. And I'll say one more thing very quickly, which is this. In your position specifically, where you have to leave sometimes in the middle of the night because of a situation that happened, you know, it really would put you at a disadvantage that you would have to drive somewhere, get the car, drive. I mean, where the media's over here like, look, we just want answers of why this cement truck rolled over. And you're like, yeah, I'll be there in 45 minutes. I had to, you know, drive to get the car.
Time's a big deal on a critical incident. And getting the information and getting it out to media is a big deal when it's a critical incident. And like you said, I save so much time by getting ready at home, getting in my car and going straight there. I don't have to go to the station, load up, get a car, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And I'll give you an example. It's 118 degrees yesterday in Vegas. My dad called me and he was like, my air just went out on my truck. And that was like one of those moments where I was like, oh, I am so grateful I have a take-home car, because he works at Nellis Air Force Base, and he let's just put it this way, he lives about a 40-minute drive away from where he works. And I was like, oh, just take my car, my personal vehicle, because it's just sitting there because I have a take-home car, right? Because it's too hot to drive without air in your car. So his car's in the shop getting fixed, and in the meantime, he can take mine because I have a take-home car. But also, I was just thinking to myself, man, I am so grateful that, let's say my car that I drive to and from work went out, or my patrol car, the air went out. All I do is take it to our garage at work and they're gonna fix it, and I'll take out a spare car that has working AC. Like, I never have to stress about that. You know, if my car breaks down, if I get a flat tire, I don't have to stress about that because we have mechanics that are gonna fix it, that are working at our station, and I'm gonna check out a spare. And it's just, I love it. I mean, being somebody that's worked at another police department before, and nothing negative about the police department, but that was one of the things that was like frustrating for me, was trying to go out there into the motoring pool, and you have to find a car that starts, the air works, that isn't too dirty. Like, oh, this car always doesn't accelerate fast. Like, when it's not your vehicle, people don't treat it with respect usually. They should, but they don't, right? And they drive it hard, like you said. And if you get a car that just doesn't work, your whole shift is ruined because you're just like, oh, like I'm working in this car that's crap, you know? And so when it's your own vehicle, no one else drives it, and you have your air freshener in there, you feel at peace driving in that vehicle at work, you know, and it puts you in a better mindset. So it's a whole thing. Like, I'm so grateful. And last thing I'll just say real quick is, I've seen some people make the comment of, well, I don't want to take home vehicle because I don't want people to know I'm a cop, or I don't want them to know where I live, right? No problem. Myself personally, I actually park across the street of my home so that people don't know exactly what house it is. Most troopers park in their garage. Most parole and probation officers park in their garage. Our parole and probation vehicles are not marked, so you don't technically know it's a marked unit. Just Highway Patrol has marked units. And then there are some troopers that prefer to park their vehicle at a nearby fire station, police station, military office. There's different solutions to that you can park down the street. And same thing, you could drive down there, change out, get in your vehicle with permission of the establishment, of course. But there's solutions and other alternatives if you do not feel comfortable with parking your car at your residence. Or you can leave it at our station. You just have to be able to get there in a timely manner if you were to be on call or something. But again, all questions for our recruiters or myself, just feel free to reach out.
3 weeks ago, you had the ghost car.
Oh, yeah.
When you came here, and I said, you're driving the ghost car? And you said, yeah, I'm getting an oil change.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so that it was a perfect scenario.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand, and you just looked at me like, what's the big deal? I dropped off my car. It's getting an oil change. I'll pick it up, you know, whatever that is, and I will be driving home.
Yeah. So this video, before you started.
Oh, we got a video.
So you actually know Sergeant Clifton, who came on, Officer McClarty.
Yes.
So he's in this vehicle as well as multiple people that you know in this vehicle. And this vehicle was made by all of us to really highlight different things that we felt are important to highlight about the take-home vehicle. So in the beginning, you will see that Officer McClarty is carrying a lot of gear. You don't have to carry a lot of gear when you have a take-home vehicle. That's one of the perks, right? Cleanliness in the vehicle. You don't have to worry about another officer being late, keeping it clean, having the tank filled. We wanted to highlight multiple divisions and multiple different uniforms we offer at our agency so that people could see a lot of our different uniforms. And then at the end, you will see our entire new silver fleet from motorcycle to F-150, unmarked, Explorer, Charger, and our entire fleet. So we had a lot of different things that we put in here just so people would see. And we may have hit a little Easter egg in there with our Trooper Talk mug. I'll see if you find it.
Oh, I want to see. Oh, this is very exciting.
Man, where is this guy? I'm gonna be late.
Oh, hey man. Sorry I'm late.
Yeah, you are late.
Car's a mess. My bad. I couldn't fill it up either, man. I need. Have a good shift.
Yeah, thanks. Oh! Come on! What is all over the dash? Great. It is on E. Can't believe this. Man, I really wish I worked for the agency that issued your own vehicles. I didn't have to deal with this.
Have a great shift and be safe out there.
So you have commercial,
That's the blue, right?
commercial, parole and probation, Capitol Police, parole and probation, highway patrol, and then our motor units.
Right. Motor, right.
There's our bikes, F-150, parole and probation's unmarked, our Explorer, and the Charger.
That's more like here in the Nevada State Police, all smart personnel give their own mission state view. Apply today at NevadaStatePolice.com.
So the thing is that when you go into a car, right, and let's face it, it's not like a normal job where maybe you're like a salesman and you carry like a brochure, right? Like you have machine guns and bags and sidearms and this pistol and that pistol and you know what I mean? Like when I used to talk to Sergeant Barachek, and he used to say very explicitly that he puts all the stuff in his car, like his extra ammunition and all this type of stuff, because when he leaves, he's gone. And that's it. And so he has what it is that he has. I mean, he can call the radio and all this type of stuff, but he has what he has,
Yeah.
right? And so, but he knows what he has in his car, just as you know.
Yeah.
Right? And so no one is going into your car and taking, whatever it is that you have in there and moving it from this side to this side unless you do it.
Yeah. trying to like fit your entire office in a bag is really hard sometimes, and you can do it obviously. On top of carrying all your firearms and your citation rider and this and that and
Yeah.
your camera, all that. But man, the convenience of just leaving it in your vehicle. We don't leave our firearms in our car, but like your bag with your paperwork can stay in the car. You know, I've even seen troopers, because it's your own personal space, so whatever you want and what makes it easier for you. So, for example, I know there's this one trooper, he bought his own wireless keyboard, so that way he doesn't have to turn like this. So when he's on a crash scene and he's doing his paperwork or he's doing a report at the jail, he sits there on his wireless keyboard and he types and does it so he doesn't turn like this, because it was irritating his back. But that's his own personal preference that he can do.
Yeah.
Or there's some troopers that actually have printers in their car because it's all Bluetooth, or they connect their USB port to our computer because they got tired of having to try to find a printer or going in the jail and trying to find a spot. And they just sit in their car and they do all their work and they print it out right there. Like, people have their own little niche things that they have in their car that is convenient for them. I've even seen a trooper one time, you can buy these little, old school kind of phone handset, and you can plug the cord into your cell phone, and then whenever somebody needs to call maybe their work or they're getting arrested or something, as a courtesy, they'll be like, you want to make a phone call to your family, let them know where you're going to be, or like your car's getting towed here, and they'll use that that phone, so they're not using their cell phone, or
That's a
some
good
will
idea.
use
Right,
speaker,
right.
but just like little different things, right?
Right.
Or Trooper Brims, you know her, she has a sticker in her back window, I think it says your Uber ride, or like not your Uber ride, or something about a
Yeah.
rideshare service, and it's for when she gets impaired individuals off the roadway, and like, I don't know, people make it unique to themselves. So
But that's what you can do as your vehicle, because you're in that
yeah, it's your
for a long time. I mean, let's face it, like they're in their cars for 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so like you're driving around, you want the car to look the way that and so it's very, very important.
You know how many
what I'm saying?
times I've forgotten like a piece of paperwork in my car, or like mainly paperwork or an extra set of handcuffs, and you're just like, oh, and I got to call the person who's in that car. Oh, hey, can you grab my cuffs and put them in my locker for me? I'll grab them tonight when I come in or whatever. It's just like, oh,
Pain.
yeah,
Yeah. Take home car the best.
yeah.
All right. Community Resource Fair. Meet and interview. So you guys do this all the time?
Yeah, we partner up with a lot of job fairs here in town, actually statewide.
Right. And it's very important because it allows someone to be able to go and hang out and spend time and all this type of stuff, and be able to meet the person behind the badge.
Yeah, exactly.
And so be able to spend time, be able to ask them questions and things of that nature. It's very important.
Yeah, and you and I talk about energy a lot, and it's like sometimes, me talking to you from a camera is one thing, me talking to you online, answering your questions via email or on the phone is one thing. But in person, sometimes you have a connection with somebody and you can feel my passion for the job and why I love it. And maybe I'm going to say something that resonates with you, and it'll change your whole mindset on like, I'm going to apply for that agency. Sometimes seeing the uniform in person makes you like wish you had it or wish you could wear it, or
Yeah.
looking at the pins, and it's just like a whole thing. So in person can make all the difference, and that's why Officer McClarty goes to all of our job fairs.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic because I do. I think that, you look at a civilian, like myself, and then you look at that and you go, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Like I want that in my life. And so I think to be able to have someone that is there for you, that is able to talk with you is important. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? What's this? Calling all retired officers.
So this happened a while ago. We did it last year, and then it stopped, and then they brought it back. So basically, it's a critical fill. So when we hit critical numbers, anybody that was a retired law enforcement officer could apply with our agency, and we would bring them back either to work the road or to do admin stuff. So we have a couple retirees that are currently working for the department. It's a huge incentive for somebody who just retired and maybe necessarily didn't want to retire yet, but they were like, wait, I could retire, get my retirement on top of another extra check because I'm working again. It's a second employment.
Right.
So it's huge.
Huge.
So we have a couple people right now that are eligible to retire. So they're going to retire and come back as a critical fill. But this is also for other sworn, not just for our agency. So any other sworn that's retired from other agencies that would like, they weren't maybe you can work part-time, you can work full-time.
And then they get the retirement and all that too.
Yes.
Like the 401ks, the spiels.
We call
all
it
the-
double dipping. It's
Right,
amazing.
double dipping, right.
It is amazing. If I was eligible to retire, 100% I'd be on this.
I know some people that have worked for one agency and then they went and worked for the other agency, and so
Exactly.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
They're killing it.
Awesome
They-
opportunity if you're
They have
interested.
to put their life on the line. They have to do the things that maybe they don't want to do, but the difference is that I think, like you said, there are a lot of people that retired, that maybe want to do more,
yeah,
and so it's cool.
And also, like, I mean, I can't guarantee this, but I know one thing that we're looking for part of the critical fill is we're going to be getting, we're already getting a lot of applicants. And the longest part of the testing process is the background process. So we need people, and instead of, we've taken sworn off the road back in the day to help get these packets going through to people that are on light duty, that we just, assign them to backgrounds so we can get them going faster. So these critical fills, a lot of them will be assigned to backgrounds. So you'll get a take-home car to drive to work, and then all you do is, doing background checks on these possible candidates because we want the best of the best. But, I mean, that's something that you might be doing, and you're getting your retirement on top of a whole nother, salary.
It's tremendous.
It is. It's great.
I think that this is very important. Calling all retired officers. Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 175 is too many. We talk about the pedestrians. We talk about the unrestrained motorists.
Yeah, this is as of July 3rd, so it's supposed to be before July 4th. Although we are down, it's still 175 lives. And, you and I always talk about seeing is believing. And so I think it's important that you put the number up there so that people can see 175 lives have been lost in the state of Nevada just
Since January.
since January 2023 until July 3rd. The new number, I don't know it off the top of my head at the moment, but unfortunately we have gone up a little bit. But as of July 3rd, we were at 175. So
175 shoes, 175 families, 175 people who are not going to be on the planet anymore. It's very tragic, and that's why we continue to put these numbers up, because we have to tell people that these things are real. And so it doesn't matter what you believe, doesn't matter what religion you are, what ethnicity.
Life is a
it
life.
makes no difference. 175 people are not on the planet anymore because of whatever. And so it's too much.
we talk about pedestrian safety and stuff. Remember the man that ran across the freeway for unknown reasons? He was on his bachelor party.
Bachelor party.
Starting
his life.
Yeah. It's just devastating, so.
Look at this big picture. I love this. 60% of all speeding drivers involved in fatal crashes were also drunk. I mean, listen, doesn't matter what time of the day, right? 6 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock at night. People are drunk. There is a drunk person who is driving on the road right now that we need to stop. And so if that is us as friends saying, please don't drive drunk anymore, friend, if that's taking the keys away from somebody, if that's doing whatever needs to be done, or they're going to end up either killing someone or in Trooper Brem's car, you know what I'm saying? And this is not a free ride. And so, it's funny is that, so I watch, they have a new show on the TV, and it's called Booked In. Okay? And so what it is it shows in different parts, maybe I can't say the name of the show, but they show what happens when you get arrested. Okay? And so they show, like, just a clip, right? But they show the person that comes in, that's all, screaming and this and that. And they're like, oh, okay, you want to scream at us, sir? No problem. See that jail cell over there? It has a clear glass that you can't break, and you can go sit in there for 16 hours,
Yeah,
sir.
and throw your temper tantrum.
Right. And then when you come out, when you get nasty again, oh, sir, you can just go sit in there again. And so then you get the nice ones that say, listen, like, I made a mistake. I'm just really sorry. You know what I mean? Like the people get, for DUI, they show them and stuff, and they, and they explain to them, and they're like, I'm really sorry, and they do the fingerprinting, right? And then, oh, this is my second time, and I hope they let me out. And then they look at him and they go, sir or ma'am, your bail is $160,000 because instead of you getting for DUI, right, like the officer did felony reckless driving because you were driving at speed, and then you have felony this, and all of a sudden you have 6 felonies because you were driving drunk, and your bail is, and so then you go, well, how do I get out of there? And you go, well, first of all, you need to call the bail bondsman. You go, okay, and then you need to not only tell the bail bondsman, you're very sorry, and that you'll help him, but you need to give that guy $20,000 in cash to then never get that money back, to then help you get out of jail so that maybe you're not, up a creek or something, for the next couple of years because you're going to lose your license. So, and I watched it the other day, and like there was a guy, and it is exactly what happened. And so you looked at him and you go, so he goes, I'm just going to sit in jail, for until I see the judge, he sat in jail for 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
Like, because he didn't have $16,000 in cash to give the bail bondsman to then have the collateral for $160,000 to get out of jail because the officer, hit him with all these felonies because he was out of control. You know what I mean? He was belligerent. He was screaming. He was, he tried to strike one of the officers. When he was getting arrested, and the officer was like, "Oh, okay, you want to strike me? Felony. Have a good day, sir. Goodbye."
Yeah.
And so the thing is that, when we're in trouble like that, there's also a level of you're in trouble and just be done with it. And so don't cause yourself these more stress. And so, like,
There's a big difference from being a child and being put in thinking time for a little bit, right, for doing something wrong, versus when you're an adult, the repercussions that if you do something wrong or make the bad choice, they're there for a reason. And that, everything you just said, is the best case scenario if you didn't take someone's life.
right,
You know what
if
I
you
mean?
didn't take, and in one of the jails, they still have, when you go in there, you have to stay in the cell for 23 hours out of the day because they quarantine you to make sure you don't have the COVID in some of these other jails, right?
Shoot.
And so you're in there, and the one guy was with one of his, the cellmate guy was coming off of heroin. And so he was totally out of, anyway, I can keep going. But I'm just saying, you don't know what happens. And so when we do these things and you end up going to jail from these DUIs and you have to sit there with these people for 12 hours, it's
It's not supposed to be enjoyable.
nowhere you want to be.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't mean to go on a rant, but
No.
I'm telling you, to watch it because you don't really see it is like.
Yeah, because people, you don't know what it is, or you don't know what to expect if you've never been arrested. So it's kind of like, what is the process? What is it like? So that's really cool that they started that show so
There
people
was a
can see
lady that
firsthand.
was 75 years old, and she never got in trouble in her life. You know what I mean? And she decided to go out with her friend. She got, busted for the DUI, and she's like, she was very jovial and very nice. But listen, ma'am, go sit in a jail cell for 12 hours, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, and Neil, there are a lot of people that make a bad choice that one night. They've never done anything wrong, and they just messed up. And those are the people that you actually kind of feel bad for to an extent, because you're just like, dang, like your whole life you've never done anything wrong, especially like elderly people.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it just pulls on the heartstrings. But then I know I have a job to do, and I know that what they could have done, and if they would have hurt or killed my family, I wouldn't be feeling sorry for them. So I have to remember that too. And so we always treat everybody with, you know, dignity and very respectful, and you will be as nice and polite as you possibly can given the situation.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So many things to talk about, Trooper Wellman. Trooper Wellman, thanks again for coming in. You know, we appreciate you. Appreciate the Trooper Talk. You know, so this is now after the episode of 100, so we passed it. So thanks again. We look for another 100 more, okay?
Go vote. Go vote for our cruisers.
Yeah. VoteNSP.com.
Please.
Thanks, Trooper Wellman.
Thanks.
All right, see you later.